episode of Haunt Talk. I'm Kim and this is Josh. Today we are going to be doing a review for Dark View Haunted House in Toronto, Ohio. Before we get started though, we do want to remind you that we have a GoFundMe going on right now for a sequel to our haunt documentary that we did a few years ago, Haunt Behind the Scare. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. Link is down below.
Yep, it's free to watch on YouTube now.
Yep. Please go, if you don't follow us already, follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to have a bunch of other stuff on here. Please check it out. We have other reviews that we've done.
And short films and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
More content to come. But now I think we're done with our introductory things. We'll go ahead and start into the review of Dark View. Now this place is just in the middle of the woods. And I love that. You know, I love the curvy West Virginia roads. I mean, my God, but you know, it's Ohio, but it's like right there in the border, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. So you're like in a mountain. I don't know. It's cool. It's a cool location. It serves right for a haunted house. It's definitely a good place for like a haunted house trail in the woods thing because it's there. Yeah. And once you get to the place, you'll see it because it's all lit up. There's just lights in the trees and crap, and it's actually really cool driving up to the place, I will say.
Yeah, it was like kind of surprising because you're on this dark road, and then all of a sudden it's like haunted house.
Yeah, and there are signs. There are signs. We said that I think Steve Jobs designed it because they're like the most simplistic signs ever. It's like a black sign with gray writing on it. There's a gray arrow, and we're like, oh, that's where you go. Okay. Yeah. I mean, GPSs exist, so just punch it in. I mean, who doesn't really use that? If you're just using a map, well, good luck, but I don't know who does that anymore. But yeah, we went there. We got there like 30 minutes before they stopped selling tickets, so we were the only ones there. They said they'd been busier earlier that night. But so when we got there, we didn't have to wait, and that was awesome and stuff. All right, and that brings us into our first category, which is design. We gave that a 9.
The design was really, really cool. I mean, like, you walk in, like, the queue line, they take you into this little room, and they do this little introduction. Then you have to go up to this house and knock on the door, and somebody comes and gets you. And then they take you into this house. And it's supposed to be like a bed and breakfast. And so you're getting checked in. And they like have you do another introduction inside the house, which is really cool and very effective and very technical. And it was very, very cool.
So I guess the place technically has 2 introductions. And it does take up a fair amount of time, but they're both really well done and cool, so I don't really mind it.
Yeah. Not at all.
Which I do remember thinking, I'm like, at first I was like, this is a little bit much, we just had it, but like the second one, they're very different, and the second one turns into something that I found was really cool. I've never seen anything like that before. I'm not sure if they did that all themselves, like if they programmed it all to do that, or if that's something you can get someplace. I'm not 100% sure, but I've never seen it before, and I really liked it.
Yeah, it was very cool. So then you go into this house, and you know, there's quite a few scares and sets and stuff like that in this house. Very effective, very scary. Then you get into the trail. The trail part of it, which is the majority of the haunt. Yes. Yeah. And they had like scenes set up in this trail, and it was like very like things you would find, you know, in forests. Like there were campers and you know like a park ranger and hillbillies. Yeah. I mean, like the tents were destroyed and stuff, and like it looked really real too. Like the attention to detail was really awesome at this place. Like, you know, like there was like items that you would find, not just like destroyed tents. Like there was a child tent with blood on it, just a couple bloody children toys by it. Like I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was pretty dark and cool. There's some cool scenes. Like I think there's the Michael Myers scene in the tent. You know, that was pretty cool. So hillbillies with rattle cans. Yeah. That was a thing. And then after that, I think we went to the mine section of it. There's like a hillbilly village type thing. And then there's like a mine scene. That was really cool. And then a circus. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not trying not to talk about the actors too much. We'll get into that in a minute because that's what really sells this. Something else that's really cool about the place is the lighting. Yeah. Their lighting was really good. It was very immaculate. Like for an outside haunt especially, like they had it so it looked like it was storing you with strobe lights, and they had like
speakers everywhere apparently, because there's always music, very appropriate, creepy music for the most part. You heard just the sound of thunder when you're in the cemetery and lightning. That was cool.
Yeah.
And the cemetery, like, everything there looked really, like, sometimes you go to places and you're like, those tombstones don't look real. But, like, they looked like stone. There's caskets, which I'm pretty sure quite a few of the caskets that they had places were real caskets that looked like it. So that was nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, their sets were just really good.
Yeah, it was really awesome. So next we'll move into actors.
We gave them a 10.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah, this is some of the best actors I've seen in a while. And we had never been to this place before, and this came as a, like, we didn't really know what to expect. Because, again, I had never been there before, and I didn't really know. And, like, it was so much more theatric than I expected it to be. I mean, like, they had stories they told you. One character in particular, the dialogue, how she, like, there was just grandma, and the story she told was so elaborate, and she sold it so well. I was just like, she kept going.
Yeah, like, I was really surprised, and it was like, you know, it kept you enthralled. Like, you actually were like, you know, oh, okay. So, like, she was basically telling you the story of the house. But it was like to remember all that and to, like, you know, tell God knows how many people go through that haunted house every single day is fantastic.
Yeah. It's mainly at the beginning. There's a lot of child actors, and sometimes that falls flat. But even they were good. Like, oh, the kids at the end of the haunt. There's like this hospital scene where he's like, the kid. It's funny too because he's a kid and he's talking about needing to take his medicine. He has an empty bottle of Jack Daniels, and then this other kid nurse comes out and she, like, has this whole thing about she doesn't really want to cure him anymore, so she'll just kill him. So she strangles him, and then as we're walking out, he runs by us and she's like, "Where are you going? I thought I killed you!" And she's chasing after him, trying to strangle him again. And it was awesome because as she's strangling him, she's like, "You guys just go. You don't need to be witnesses." And, like, then she begins strangling him, and she's like, "Bye, guys!" Like, all happy as he's choking. It was, it was great. It was great. Oh, I liked it. I know the guy you want to talk about.
Yeah. So his character's name was Fatso, and oh my God, it was fantastic. Like, okay, so we're in another scene with another character, and he's in the background telling the character we're talking to shut up.
Like, quietly at first. I saw him in the corner.
Quiet.
I saw him in the corner of my eyes and thought he was a prop at first, until I made eye contact with him, like, oh God.
It's a real person. And then, okay, I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say he has 4 eyes, and they're very inappropriate. But they're hysterical.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
And he just was so funny. And just the interaction of all of them. Because there was, like, I think at one point there was like 3 of them in the interaction at one point. And they all just were just hysterical. But he stood out. So, Fatso, you did a great job.
Yeah, it was so, yeah, they were all so good and in character. Like, all of them were on point. There was this whole, like, oh, then there was this guy who, he was like a hillbilly, and he kind of, it reminded me of the guy from, the name escaped me for the movie. If you've seen the movie Split, I think of his name by Hedwig, but the child persona of that guy, he sounded like the guy and, like, kind of acted like that. Like, you know, he's a crazy person. He's, like, trying to, like, get us to play games with him and stuff, you know, and, like, just this whole spiel, and he was like, you know, come on, guys, like, I have something to show you, and then, well, he shows you something as you go through the body bags, and it actually scared the crap out of me, like, because I wasn't expecting what happened to happen, and just, like, his line of dialogue, it was just great. It was just great. He said, in the child in a cage thing, that was you arguing with the one actor.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, which something actually about this house that is cool, is they kind of do tour guides to certain points, which I like. You get a person, they kind of go with you, and they kind of, like, take you through the scenes and tell you things. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens a couple times at the beginning, and then in the circus part, and there's a part in the mine where it kind of happens as well, which I liked. It's a lot of interaction.
Yeah. And actually, at the beginning of the haunt, there's a, I'm going to call him a grandpa character. And he basically made us read the rules. Like, he stared us down until we read this giant banner of rules. And then he, like, explained them to us about how, like, people got lost and things like that. And then he proceeded to mark our wristbands that we had.
Of this.
And then he asked if he could mark on us, which you know, me and the other girl that was with us, we said, sure, whatever. Well, he drew what he called a spaghetti factory explosion.
Squiggly lines.
It was just a bunch of squiggly lines on my arm. And then he drew what looked like a heart on the other girl's arm, and it was actually a
And then
lady.
you altered it.
Yeah, a lady bending over, pulling up her underwear.
Yeah.
But it was funny, and he was just the sweetest guy, and like he definitely played the part.
And then like even like before like we entered anything, like there was just these actors, and I assume they knew we were watching them, but they kind of played it off so they didn't even. There was a scarecrow guy, and there was like this hillbilly, I think, like character, like walking behind him and stuff, and they were arguing, and and then he starts threatening. He's like, "I'm going to get out your biggest fear or whatever." And he gets his lighter out of his pocket, and like the scarecrow guy is just freaking out. And he's turning on the lighter and acting like he's going to burn the scarecrow. And he starts running around like his hands over his face, making little screechy noises. And I'm just like, oh god.
It was funny.
Yeah,
it was funny.
Yeah, I've never been to a haunt with actors this entertaining. I've been to a lot of haunts with really good actors, but God, they were just so entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were so into it, and like they acted so well. I don't know if some of these people like have been in theater or whatever, but it really seems like they've acted in something before with how like well they pulled it off. And even their mannerisms were on point. And they were just like, I don't know, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And the makeup was really good too.
Yes. Yeah.
Fat So's makeup.
Oh my god. Like, just go to this place just to see Fatso.
My God. Oh, you better.
My God.
He better be there every night, 'cause, dude. You're all great, but my God. I mean, he's the standout because it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So we've talked about actors for like in a millennia. I guess we'll move on to the next thing, which is scare factor.
We gave them a 7.
Yes.
Now, mind you, it wasn't a lot about the scares. It was about the interaction, about creeping you out.
Right, and it is creepy. But and I mean they did scare us a bit, but it's not like a high intensity haunted house. Like if you compare it to something like, I don't know, like a haunted hooch or something like that, you're not going to just be like screeching the whole time. It's about entertaining you and having fun. This is someplace that, and this is really cool. If you have children, they have a thing you can get, so the monsters will still scare them a little bit, but if they see they're upset, they'll interact with them, like give them high fives and stuff. So this is one of the few haunted houses where, because usually if it's like, I'm not saying that's geared toward kids, but if a place is like kid friendly, the adults are gonna, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be lost on the adults because they're focusing on not scaring the kids.
Yeah. But this place isn't just good because of its scare factor.
Mm-hmm.
It's good because the actors and the scenes and everything is just so well done here. And like I said, they did get us. Something didn't mention in actors. There's a guy in a ghillie suit who got us 3 times and like really actually made me scream. he really scared me. And there's quite a few times they did get me, and they never like full panic, like oh my god mode, you know. But like
he screeched. Yeah.
No, well, I mean I screeched, but yeah, it was yeah, they did. They did a pretty good job at scaring us, but like I said, that's not like this haunt's main focus is just to terrify you. It's very creepy, and it is interactive, but yeah, and it's fine. Like I said, it's fine. It doesn't have to be the scariest thing on earth. It's unique in what it does, and that is perfectly fine. The scare factor is more of it's a grading system where just how scary it is, but I wouldn't look at that as like where like design. Like the number, the higher it is, it's like really the better the place looks. Scare factor, long as it doesn't have to be scary, long as there's like a reason for it. This place has a reason for not being the scariest ever because it's focusing on something different. And that brings us to value. That we this one's a little bit unique because there's coupons that are $5 off on what days?
$5 on Fridays and $3 on Saturdays.
Yeah.
You have to go online and you can download them on your phone and print them out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Regular admission is $18. So if you're paying $18, we say it's like a 9 value because 18 is kind of high. Because I've heard like when they're busier nights, it's going to be a little bit shorter. And I mean, it's 18 still very fair and 9 still a very high score. But if you're getting in for 15 or less, then it's a 10 because that's just ridiculous value at that point. Something else worth pointing out is you have one of the best midways in a haunted house I've seen. Yeah,
it was really cool. They had games, they had food, they had what looked like they might have had live music at one point. I think there was a stage with like some music and stuff.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Yeah, really cool midway.
There's also a photo op. This happens in the haunted house at the very end, but there's a photo op, which I'm not going to say what happens, but let's say there'll be a few pictures where you're fine, there'll be a picture where you're maybe scared about something. And then, yeah, it got me. Yeah, the picture's pretty awesome, and it's $5, which you need to get both pictures, which I mean is fairly reasonable. And they post a lot of them on Facebook, the before pictures. I don't think they post the scare ones, but they post like the before pictures, which that was cool. And then I guess that brings us to our overall score.
Overall, we gave them a 9.
This was actually very surprisingly good, and not because not because I thought it was going to be bad, but it's always nice when you go to a place and you don't really have any expectations, and they just like turn it up to 11, and you're like, oh wow. Like, and that was definitely the case here. You know, we pulled up, we had no idea what to expect. We're like, yeah, you know, the place hasn't been around for a real long time. I think they used to run, is it the Goucher or the Gosher? I think you say Goucher, right? I think that's how you say it.
Goucher Hotel.
Yeah, the Goucher Hotel, and unfortunately that haunt did burn down, but these guys did not let that stop them. You know, they're still there, and this is what we talk about when we say people are passionate. Because people are passionate about it. They said, you know, we got... Life gave us lemons and they made lemonade. You know, use that whole tired old saying. That's really what they did. I mean, they didn't stop. They were like, you know what? Nope, next year we're going to make something. And, you know, we're going to continue doing what we love. And that's exactly what they're doing, and it's great. And I hope there's many more years to come. They also say that they change it up, I guess, every year. Yeah,
they said they do change it up quite a bit. They were arguing over how much they changed. They said about 90% of it.
Yeah.
And the other guy said 95, so... They change a lot of it up. So that's a good thing, too, because it'll be different every year.
Yeah, I really like that, you know, and like, make sure you come back next year, which we for sure will be coming back next year, because the customer service is also really good there. And then some of the people that run the place, they sat down and talked with us because they knew we were doing reviews and stuff. They came up to us after we were done, you know, they were talking to us even before then, like everyone, like the gift shop is like, you know, you guys have a nice night, you know, we walk up, people at the ticket booth are very nice, everyone is very friendly, and usually a lot of places you run into someone that just, for some reason, doesn't seem like they want to be there, but this place was not like that. Everyone just seemed like,
yeah, and especially at the end of the night, a lot of times people are just kind of worn out and tired and just don't care. These people were full of energy.
No, it felt like, I mean, I don't know what it was like earlier, but it felt like they were just giving us their all. They're just like, we're just gonna, like, so, like, they didn't have anyone else, and they're like, we're just gonna go all out on these guys. And I don't know, it was just a really, really good experience overall. So I definitely recommend going to this one. But I think that ends it for this review, and as she said in the beginning, you know, make sure to check out the GoFundMe, if you would please donate to that. Also watch our documentary that's already out now, so you see that we will make a good documentary. And then there's a video again describing everything that's in the GoFundMe. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and also the music that's in the beginning of this video. And we have a different song at the end of each video is music by haunt rocker Jerry Vayne. He makes really cool, awesome rock music with like kind of a spooky, kind of like edge twist to it. So it's not just haunted house music. You know, you can also listen to it as like an if you like into like instrumental rock and stuff like that. He's a really cool guy. Just has a new album come out. You know, so make sure to check out his webpage and consider buying some of his music. Give it a listen. Thank you guys very much for watching.
Thanks.